So, before we start, I would like to sing a song for you. Alright? And after that, I will ask you something regarding this. So, the song is something like Poni po, Thaniyaga Thavikindre, Tunabendam, Anvepo. Now, with this little bit of tone, or simple one line, can you tell what is the theme or what could be the subject, the person who could be singing this song? Poni po, Thaniyaga Thavikindre, Tunabendam, Anvepo.
Something about happiness. A person is happy and he or she is expressing.
Okay, some person is happy. Anything else? Gaurav, can we have the video please? Yeah. Now listen to this. Alright. Now, what's the point is here? The thing is that whatever I have been representing, don't you think that music plays a very important role to understand what's happening in the background? Is it important or not? To understand, because this song actually means po ni po, means in Hindi it is it means that go girl go. This song is something like in sad mode, you can say. So I was listening to this song, eventually it popped up. So I thought to include this, just to make the difference what it means to be with music and without music. That is with background and without background. When we are teaching actually in our classroom, are we giving our students that background music today to understand the wording? That is the most important part in today's life actually. Because I believe that as a teacher, what we are doing is just giving them education. We are educating them. We are making them to understand, read, write, and speak. But what is the purpose of all this read, write, and speak? If they don't understand that what is the things we have to implement those things and how to implement those things. There are things that actually varies from time to time, place to place, and whatever we teach them, sometimes they don't get it exactly what is the use of it. That is the most important thing in today's life. So, with this, I welcome you all in today's session on value education and its significance. We're going to learn about this session that what is this value means. If you go to the market, if you say that you have purchased something of 10 rupees, we come to our home and then we tell our mothers that this is worth of 10 rupees. And if it is not worth of 10 rupees, then what does it mean? That it might be having less price. This is what we mean the value word in our general life, right? So in our value education also, the value means according to the Google that the amount of money that something is worth. If you are purchasing something and if you are getting less amount of it, then we easily say that this is not worth of 8 rupees or 100 rupees. This is what we mean by value. Then, to think something or somebody is very important. If I say that I value you as my friend, then I am comparing yourself as a friend of mine. So I value you. The importance that I am giving you, that is being judged here. So the same thing is with the education also. In terms of value education, it is associated with different pedagogies, methods or programs that teachers or educators use in order to create learning experiences for students when it comes to value question. Now there can be so many number of questions arising in our mind that what exactly or how we can differentiate this education from this value education. So there are certain things, there are certain aspects where we can easily differentiate that this is education and this is value education. Now, one of the criteria is that getting value education. Sometimes we simply say that here will 20 watermelon and the cost of 20 is this, then what is the cost of 40 and such kind of things. But during preparation of question paper, if you are putting something like that, if there were 20 watermelons and if there are 5 students, then how many each one should get the share? Then obviously the answer is dividing by 5. But some students will write that if he or she has read, I will give you 4 or this one less. So the value education of this sharing, it comes into the action actually. We are putting the values to the student's mind through questioning, through activities, through demonstrating ourselves as role model. So there are different ways how we are going to represent ourselves for promoting into value education. Now, all of us know that Nelson Mandela has said that education is the most powerful weapon through which we can change the world. But I believe that education itself is not enough if it is not given or if it has been not inculcated along with the values. Because I will show you one more video, then you will understand this thing. Further, Nelson Mandela has also elaborated that there are two education. First one is academic, where you will find that the student has been very much excellence in their studies. Some of the students I have seen, I mean my own students, they have been very excellent. They have scored 98%, 99%. Not only this, they are the university topper, gold medalist. But throughout the, I mean, career-wise, they should settle that much. The other students have been able to succeed in their life in terms of whether you call it as a job, career, life, prosperity, everything. So the thing is that the person might have got gold medalist in maths or some other subjects, but throughout as a, I mean, we call it as a holistic development for a child, where a child is being developed from the all-round development. The holistic development focus not only the academic development of a child, but it also focuses on the social, economical, financial, social adjustment, behavior perspective, personality, everything. So if the holistic development of a child is not happening, then the education that the student has achieved or got from any teacher, that has no use in their life. So therefore, in order to have this holistic development of the child, the education that we are implementing to the student, it should be valued. It should be given that much importance that it is beneficial for the students. Now, education is not just confined to textbooks and classroom. Activities associated with education also plays a key role in one's holistic development. At this point, value education comes into existence. Now, do you know these two people? Muhammad Atta and Abdulaziz Al Umari? Anyone? No one? Who are they? You must have seen them anywhere. They are actually highly educated. One of them has a degree certificate in, I think, Asberg University, that is in Germany. Some research university in Germany. So they are actually highly qualified. No one? All right. They have? They are terrorists. That's it. Obviously, they are the terrorists. The thing that they did, and before actually, they are the mastermind behind the World Trade Center. You must have seen this before also, right? Now,
आपका माइक का रेंज आ रहा है.
anyone who is associated with such kind of activities, they hold a technical degree from recognized university, but still they were involved into such activities. Why? Do they have that much value? The total number of death toll was 2,996, 4 less than 3,000, including the 19 hijackers. There were 4 hijackers that happened in the same year on the same day. The thing is, where is that value? They got the degree, but what they did with that degree is that they attack people, they kill, I mean, measure the number of people, and they have created mass destruction, you can say. So where is that value? So for this, we as a teacher need to focus on the value education and not only on the education. So coming back to our slide. When we talk that how we can differentiate this education with value education, then through different sources, I find out three major points at which I can easily differentiate this education and value education. Education is actually knowing the world that how we can survive, but value education is making the world to live in this. It's a not only survival and living into this world, but value education is going to let you know that how you can live in this world. We can make this world according to our requirement, according to our adjustment, so that we can actually live in here. And it's not like living in suffocation here. Then that in that case, it's like we have to survive anyhow. Then that may be by killing other people, or by creating mass destructions, or with some wrong perception, or with some wrong thoughts, wrong actions. That is to survive. Because for survival, it's a nature's rule that for surviving, the stronger one has to attack the weaker one. So that is what we call surviving. But in order to live, we need this value education. Because if you see that there are different perspectives that we comes across this value education, like love, integrity, faith, cleanliness, compassion, honesty, all such things. Then, second point that I came across is that knowing what needs to be done, but value education tells us about what actually needs to be done. In this case, we are actually doing what is actually required to be done. So knowing is different thing and doing is different things. Because when we know the things and we do the things, it makes a lot of difference. As a teacher, I know that physical exercises keeps us healthy, fit. That is what I have been knowing. But if I do it at the same time, then that is I am giving my education that much value, that much importance that I know this thing, I will do it. So that is what I am giving importance to something knowledge, something education or some information that I know. So it's rather than knowing the things, it's better to do them. And the last point that I come across is almost saying that knowing poor people needs help and donating our stuff to the poor people. So the thing is that again, it's the concept of knowing and doing, no matter whatever it takes. Because instead of judging the people and ourselves, it's more important that we should feel grateful that what we have. It's not like that if some student is asking any question after the class is over, then it shouldn't be like that, why I should reach out to the student. The thing is that if the student is paying that much attention, that he or she has that much eagerness to know, then why don't we? Because we have something that can make a student knowledgeable. So we need to give them the same thing, irrespective of thinking that what will happen, why we need to work beyond the school hours, or sometimes taking the copy for correction in our home. So sometimes we have to step out of our box also. Then there are different ways through which we can actually inculcate values through education. Can you name anyone? How do you think that how we can inculcate this kind of values in our students? By practicing, like any example?
If I expect any student to wish me, so I should make an effort myself first to wish the children.
Okay, that's good. Obviously, sometimes it happens that the students are crossing by, but they don't wish actually. Sometimes we have to wish them. Good morning. Okay. That's one. That's it.
If any child has forgot to bring his tiffin, we can ask the other children to share.
Yeah, that's also true. Sharing how we can. Someday one student has brought his tiffin, then another day another students may not have brought the tiffin. So that sharing things can be also inculcated by sharing the tiffins. That's also true.
To teach the students to be kind, gentle, be polite.
Okay, how that can be implemented?
To be kind, sometimes if anybody has fallen down, so that we should help him and pick it up Not that we will run or laugh and go by side. We should help them, be kind to others.
Yeah, that's also true. Anything else? How we get this?
If the bits of paper are lying on somewhere on the floor, instead of telling children, I myself as a teacher can go and pick up and put in the dustbin. By seeing this, children also will learn these things, where to throw the bits of papers or the wrappers which are waste.
That's also true, sir. Thank you, sir. Anything else from your side? Yes, please.
By sharing our own experiences, values can be taught.
Okay, by sharing our own experience, yeah, that's what we call role model. Whatever we have in our mind, we need to transfer these things to their mind also, so that they can understand that if this thing is happening, then the next consequences might be like this. Alright? Now, I think we all are here around 90s kids, or before that also, I think so. I mean, all of us are like 90s. Right? So, when we have gone to school, I have done one thing that is actually not being done right now in our schools. That is cleaning the ground. How many of you have done? Alright, I think that the majority of the people have done this thing. But what was the objective? Exactly. I had interacted with one of the principals, you can say, before some day during a family gathering. And there she told me that she still keep this thing in her school. The reason is that she mentioned one thing is that I know she's very talented, or she experienced in a perspective to share the experience. She's very highly educated, we can say. So she told in one line to kill the ego of students. This is the main reason that why she makes her students to clean the classroom, to clean the ground, no matter if the parents are coming, she deals with the parents anyhow. And in one line she said, to kill the ego. I asked her that, okay, how? How the ego of the students? I mean, the students, they don't know what is ego, how they are forming the ego, then how the making simple classes, they will kill the ego. So she elaborated in this manner that suppose any student is becoming doctor later on, MBBS, after 6 years of degree, they become doctor, engineer or something. A patient who is very ill has vomited. Now the doctor, if the person, he or she feels that he is MBBS doctor, why he should clean up the patient? That ego of not helping out or not reaching out to the needy people should be killed at the time when it could be killed. Because once that thing has been born within the student that I am MBBS doctor, 6-year degree course I have done, I have paid this much money, why I should pay? This is not my job. I am specialized in surgery and all those things. I shouldn't clean up him. So don't you think that education that he or she has got, is that valued? So the thing is, also the point is here is that cleanliness and orderliness comes at the first one that I believe, because it presents one's thought and ideas in a systematic way, both in speech and writing. Disciplined way of behavior either at home, laboratory or school is freedom from dirt, is freedom from adulteration, is freedom from corruption, is respect for the dignity of human being, keeping things in the right place, is neatness both in the one's appearance and also in one's place, going about one's daily task in methodical manner. This is all about cleanliness and orderliness. Do you agree with this? Alright. So, can we have other points that actually come across that through which we can actually inculcate the values? Any other points now from your side? Because I'm just trying to make it diverse from your perspective, because as a teacher, we are not supposed to transfer knowledge as we have perceived from our teachers, but to let the students take away in whatever way they can take the knowledge. There is a difference when we give the knowledge to them, and there is a difference when we are taking the knowledge from us. Because we are not here to expect the students to be our mirror image. We cannot expect that if I do this thing, then the students should do these things. We need to go out of box. We need to open up ourselves so that students, in whatever way they want to take the things, they should grab the things from us. And it's not like that if some student is asking out of box question, then I will say, okay, I don't know. And after 2-3 days pass, sometimes it happens, you forgot, we forgot, and the students also forgot. So the thing is that it's not like that if I'm knowing this much, then my students will be knowing this much. Then where is the growth? So that's also another point. Moving to the next point, that is courtesy. Courtesy, that is something recently 90 has done. I asked them what was the objective that we organized. There is a lot of change in their behavior. The students, when they see. Now, if you remember the stimulus and response thing, then in order to stimulate change anyone's response, some stimulus has to be present. So the stimulus that we are choosing, actually, we need to make sure that that is to be permanent or that has to be temporary. Because if it is choosing between two bads, then we need to choose the least bad thing. So the same thing is with words, actually, according to the stimulus and response. We need to choose the stimulus very carefully. If the student is very naughty in the class or not behaving properly in the class, then we need to assign him such a task in which he can bring him up little bit from what he is actually right now. So this courtesy, this striving to help the student to recover in a group will accepted involvingly or not in the conversation. Sometimes there are lots and lots of naughty students. We used to throw him out. There are two perspectives. We are actually getting a marginalized group among the students where the student has been thrown out of the group. Now the thing is that what will happen? The students might be feeling that if I am doing this thing, then obviously I will be thrown out of the class. Then is there any learning outcome out of that? Or the students learned anything from it? That is an important thing to be focused. Because we are punishing, sometimes it happens with the parents also. If the child is not eating, if using phone for constantly, what the parents will do? Slap him 2-3 times, you lock in the bathroom. The thing is that what is the objective? We are doing such kind of things because we are angry, like a parent. But the thing is that in order to change his behavior, are we putting any stimulus into that so that the students or the child will change its response? That is the objective here. Then, knowing to act and behave correctly on different occasions and different situations means a right way to act when you are with other people, helps us to get on well with others, is manifested through behavior and the manner in which we conduct ourselves in the presence of others. It also means good manners. The third way is dignity of labor. How we can actually inculcate. There are some students you will see that they don't actually respond to the club. They are totally feeling like tired. But when we assign them something in terms of whether you see out of study, because I have seen some students who are actually not very active, but if I have shown them that if you do this thing, this is the benefit that you are going to get. So the laziest student, they have performed well. So that, what we call that reward, actually. To get some reward, whatever they are doing, that is to be implemented. So, this dignity of labor and recognition has to be can be implemented with the self-presentation stems from the realization that each individual must contribute his or her quota of work for the betterment of society according to his or her ability. When we say that according to his or her ability, it includes individual differences also. Because when we talk in terms of individual differences, it's like birds can fly, they cannot swim. Same with the students also. There are different abilities each child has been gifted with. We need to identify them by providing them some situations, some scenarios that what is their behavior at this situation, how they are behaving. So we need to pick up their abilities, their weakness, their strength, and then we're gonna give them tasks in which they can perform better. So this is also a way to how we can give this validation to the students so that they can understand that the education that they are getting is actually worth of getting. Otherwise, sometimes, it's not only sometimes, but many of the times I have seen in my class also, if I started quadratic equation, the students will ask, sir, what to do with this quadratic equation? Sir, what to do with this Pythagoras theorem, a plus b, I mean, what this? Now, if I take my students to the ground and if I ask them to, okay, draw two perpendicular lines, now if they know the Pythagorean triplet, then you can easily draw the perpendicular lines without the help of any kind of two perpendicular lines or without the help of any set square. So the thing is that we need to give this value in such a way where they can implement the learned things into the ground also, into the, outside their classroom environment also. So that is the objective here. Is a value that occurs through worth of natural work is to develop a respect for all kinds of work, no matter how lowly it may seem. This is actually I was talking about in case of doctors. It shouldn't be the work like that. Sometimes if I see some wrapper outside the corridor, then it's not my work. I may feel like that it's not my work. Someday this will come and put it in the dustbin. But do you really think that will be justified in case of a being a teacher? Because where is the point of keeping our surrounding cleanliness? But if I pick up that piece of paper, put it in the dustbin, don't you think that if 10 students have seen, they are going to do the same thing? So this is where we come across to develop a respect for all kinds of work, no matter how lowly it is seen. Like motivates a person to enjoy and take pride in his work is characterized by perseverance and diligence, eagerness to do and give of self. Recognizes that each person's work is important in its own way. Sometimes we used to blame the students, you don't know this, you don't know that. But apart from that, do we really appreciate the students that the student, you are good at this thing? Most of the time, when I was also not having so much foreign ideas on these things, I myself have pretend that the students can do better, needs this much improvement, rather than focusing on what actually the student has done in this session. So this time I did this actually. I have in my report card, I have mentioned this thing, the student is good at what? Yes, one good thing, one bad thing. That how they can improve their rest of the fitness. Otherwise, before what happened, I have seen, not only in my case, but I have seen in the report cards, we have put some reports in such a way that actually shows the negative mind of the teacher, which actually shows that we are actually looking to the negative side of the students. But what about the positive side? For an instance, let us assume that the student is 99% failure in his life, but there is 1%. Now, as a teacher, our responsibility is to make that 1% as 100%. So how we need to focus on that 1%. Rapid, expand it, give the opportunities, give the different situation for where students can learn the things at most. That is what we cross, recognizing that each person is important, work is important in its own way. Then equality of gender. Sometimes it's most of the time, and even in today's world also, we used to differentiate between them on the gender. We have this perception that girls can do a set of works, whereas boy can do a set of works. Biologically, that is understood, but we need to keep one thing in mind, that there shouldn't be any discrimination. Discrimination in sense, let me tell you an example. There was one fruity or Parle-G biscuit packet previously used to come. There was one boy picture on that. In Assam or Sikkim, I don't remember exactly, a girl denied to eat the packet, saying that this is a boy thing, I won't eat it. It was so much viral that the company has to change the pic or the front photo of that Parle-G or whatever, I don't remember exactly, not to point out any company's name, but some product. Later on they change it into two gender. So in today's society, if we are making this thing that there are still some differences, then based on biological aspect, then that would be understood. But if I have this assumption that okay, team copies has to be carried out, there are two monitors, girl and boy. Now thinking in one idea in my mind that okay, it will be difficult for girl to carry, so give the task to boy. But how about if I am giving 5 copies to girl carry and 5 copies to the boy to carry? This will just distribute the work and there will be no sense of discrimination also. So this equality of gender should be kept in mind. Means giving the same honor to a woman as it is given to a man means recognition of the role by both man and woman. means enjoyment of life in all its aspects for both man and woman, means not to identify, means having a right of equal share in everything for both man and woman, means not to neglect the rights of a girl child that has been existing since age, means man and woman do not work in watertight compartments, means giving the same attention to a girl child's education as it is given to a boy. If I say that this equality of gender, again, it actually starts from X6 and X5 chromosome. But in today's perspective, is there any difference you find? Can you point out any two where we need to give some kind of task to boys only and some kind of task to girls only? Any two. Otherwise, I do have some question for you. Can anyone point out? If you actually find out.
Only tasks.
Yeah, actually, yeah, task only. I am asking means what set of tasks can be given to girls and what set of tasks should be given to boys? Because it's a topic of debate actually. Gaurav?
Most of the time, riding a bike is a job of a male person or male member. Most of the time.
I think that the girls ride scooty smarter than the boys. Okay, that's a stereotype that we are having. Okay, yeah.
Nowadays, girls are also riding a bike, but people are thinking that it is not meant for the girls.
Okay, that could be one of the things. But I think that I have seen girls riding bicycle also, even bullet also. I have seen bullets. I mean, obviously they are smart in riding the bullets. It is.
They have gone to Ladakh and all.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's like that. Let's see one more time. All right. Anything else? Only riding bike. Then in that case, I would say that we need to observe carefully.
Sir, to plow the field only boys only go.
Loving of the field only boys can do, not girls.
Okay, so that can be justified by saying that if the muscular activity has to be done, then the boys are being involved. But biochemist, can you tell me that whether a female or a male require more number of calories in a day? It is actually a female. Compared to male body and female body, whether that is irrespective of girl, lady or woman, girl require more number of calories in a day to work out throughout the day. Male require less. This is actually genetic thing. Stereotype is something different that we have a set of rules in our mind for the male and female. In our society, we feel that our society is actually male dominated. But in most of the cases, it's not. Actually, males are sometimes dominated somehow. So we are not here for that discussion actually, but I'm just trying to elaborate the things that it needs to be have wider observation that what kind of task should be given in a school campus to a girl and to a boy, so that if I were in the girl's position, then the girl shouldn't feel that, oh, I'm a girl, then I shouldn't, being a girl, I didn't get this opportunity. If the same thing is happening with the boy also, that if I am assigning some task to a girl, then the boy shouldn't feel that, oh, I am a boy, that's why I didn't got this job. I didn't got this opportunity or something. You can see for dance, we had a real life example of dance. In classical dance, classical dance, all the girls participated. But next, what we see after the teacher's day, all the boys show their talent. So the thing is that everyone has their talent at their different perspective. The thing is that all we need is just the perception to see what a student is good at and at what they can give their best. So next is natural integration. It has been said before also that when an individual thinks of himself, before that he need to think of his family. Before he thinks of his family, he need to think of his society. Before he thinks of his society, he need to think of his state. Before state, he need to think of the country, and before country, he needs to think of the whole world. Whatever I have been doing here, will it be beneficial for the world, to the country, to the state, to the district, to the block, to the village, to the place, to the family, to me? Then only it can be all beneficial for me. Because our actions actually, its hierarchy starts from the top. And if you are thinking that I have done something, whether this will be beneficial for me or not, then in that case, I am being selfish. And it might happen that something which is beneficial for me may not be beneficial for the others. But something which is beneficial at a larger scale will be beneficial for me. So we have to think on a broader mind, saying that or doing in such a way that whatever we do here, then that will be beneficial in somehow, in some other way to us. So before we think of giving any benefit to us, to our actions or anything, we need to think of as a whole thing. So national integration, it means creating a mental outlook which will promote and inspire every person to place loyalty to the country above narrow sectarian interest. It means that when people are from different religions, different culture, different caste and race, we can say, then how they can be integrated, that is the most important thing. I believe that all of us are having different ages here, but we have one objective in mind, that how we can work for the betterment of this institution or for the students. So that particular thing comes inside our classroom also. We don't need to think that this student has done something rubbish thing, something naughty thing. This student has broken my scale or didn't do as I have said. Then today I'm going to give him separate. Today I'm going to just tolerate him. Today I'm just not going to make him feel that he is not inside the class. Then what is the outcome? If I'm making any person giving punishment like this, it will not lead anywhere actually. So before we plan out, we need a lot of thoughts and theories actually, that if I do this thing, then what will be the outcome? Means that process which binds the minds of the individual of a nation. Means bringing together different elements of the country into an organized unity. That is what actually we are doing here. We are from different religions. We are celebrating each and every festival. So we have different, we are from the diverse background. Still we are working under the same roof. Same applies to the students also. Sometimes the students might feel that okay, if we start some yesterday incident, only students started singing bhajan in the bus. I told them not to do because it's not actually applicable to the other students, but they did. So everyone was enjoying it. So let them enjoy, irrespective of the action that they are doing. Because until unless it hampers anyone, if they are enjoying, let them enjoy. So it's all about respecting others' religions that brings us into sectarian interest. Means holding together all the people of a nation as a single, compact, undivided nation. We must have seen this last time riots among some incident happened in the main road, and a particular community comes against it, and so many things happened. 1 people died or 4 people died. One thing to be learned from them is that unity. Unity. If there are some tasks given in the classroom also, students find it difficult. Most of the time, students says for board work you see, for assembly you see, for stall you see. When I say that this is what we have to do, sir, how this could be done? This could be done. The open traders chai wala. Thing is that if you are not getting that community, irrespective of what you can do, identifying their strength, who is good at what, putting them together, then how they are going to give their outcome. If I am good at something, I will make sure to choose a person who is actually good at something which I am not good at. If my English is weak, then I will choose Stephen sir. Okay sir, combining with you, I can learn something from you. If you need to learn maths, then you will combine with me. So together we can come across a point. So this combination of the students works a lot actually in our education, because somewhere this rabbit and tortoise, you must have heard the story of this rabbit and tortoise. They were raised. After so many generations, they again fight for that. Okay, we'll have again another race. We'll have again another race. Their generation by generation. Then at the last, they decided, okay, now what do we do? I mean, I think that you may have heard, this was some short stories, that rabbit lost the race, tortoise won the race. So when their second generation come, then the rabbits were like that, how our older generation can lost the race, then we'll have again another race. So the tortoise were ready to give another race. So obviously this time rabbit has already decided that they will not sleep on the way. So the rabbit won the race. Then again after so many times, then another generation came to have a race. So they had third time race. So this time what they did? They changed the way. They said that we will change the way, and now we will choose a way in which there will be a river. So there was a river, the tortoise easily passed the road, but rabbit couldn't. Again after so many generations, they had a debate that okay, we will have again a race. So in the fourth and final round, they decided that what do we do right now? Wherever there will be a land, the tortoise will be on rabbit so that it could run fast, and wherever there will be water, then the tortoise will be on the back of rabbit. So their objective was to reach the goal at the same time. No one will be lagging behind. We as a teacher, we need to identify the weakness and strength of the students. That is the utmost priority as a teacher, because we cannot build something the student is carrying from genetically. You might see or you might observe that a particular group of or particular ethnicity of a group of religion or people or caste, they are good at something. You might observe. If it is the doctor's son, then he might be doctor. It's not like in today's tradition. Things change with the time. So, as a teacher, we cannot make our assumption that if his or her father is like this, then they will be like this. We need to pay attention, observe the things. Then, punctuality. I believe that this is also one of the very key role in the upliftment of the student's moral character. How we can bring it? To prepare one's own timetable, to keep a proper time, to make oneself disciplined for keeping up the time. This has been noticed and this has been told from time to time that how we can be keeping our students disciplined. To help others understanding the value of time is to try and be present in all scheduled school activities. It curtails any period of man's precious moments. It manifests an appreciation and sensitivity for the value of time. It implies observance of the appointed time. It indicates the kind of persons we are. Apart from this, whatever is written here, can you give me some examples where we can actually implement this discipline in students? Some students who are not disciplined, very rough, coming late to school, staying after the school, talking rubbish to the teacher. How we can change or how we can make their behavior actually, how we can shape their behavior. Anything that we can do? From your side, I just want to know. I mean, if you haven't come across any kind of naughty students, what you have done and how much that was effective. Obviously, we are coming across so many naughty students here, right? No one. All of you are having good students. I mean, what you are doing, what you are actually doing, deal with these kinds of students.
Some of the time we take responsibility to it.
Okay, kind of.
If the child is talkative, we make that children or child monitor
Class monitor. Okay, so there can be two consequences then. The whole class is started talking by looking at the monitor that the monitor is talking.
Actually, they are responding good.
Okay, so that's also good. So second thing that I was telling, when the responsibility has been given to the such students, they feel that okay, I'm the monitor. These are the set of rules that a monitor has to follow. So I have to follow this rule because right now He was just a student. Now when I change his position from simple student to a monitor, then he has bear that kind of responsibility that okay, I have to be these things. Then only I will call as a monitor. This is one thing that we can do. Alright?
So other thing is we can talk to them personally. After the class, we should know them personally and what the things are going around him and why he is acting like this. Like family problems or some issues are there with him. We can know them personally.
That's also true. I mean, kind of personal guidance we can say. So this guiding the students in a personally, or we can call it more specifically like counseling. That also can be done. That's also true. Now, sometimes what happens when we counsel the students, we do have some problems. That is the first thing, they don't speak. Second thing, if they're not speaking, then how we can make them speak? Second thing, even if they speak, they'll speak lie. In my case, I'm telling you, one student from standard 8B. She didn't complete her homework. I asked her, okay, why? One day, today, it was like third day. She told that, sir, last night my father and mother had fight. She told. Now, by looking at the girl's expression of saying, I understood that she is obviously lying in the name of not completion of her homework. What should I do then? And the parents are very. What should be done in such cases? I cannot say that I am totally helpless. I do have the resources, I can complete the management, I can call the parents. What do you think that I should do? If the students are providing this kind of justification that parents had a fight last night, that's why I couldn't complete my work. Nothing.
Talk personally to her parents.
Do?
Her parents.
Now the parents are also supporting her.
They might be fighting.
They might be fighting. That could be also true. So where is the development of the child taking place? Or what I did to make her complete her work? Or what I should do so that the students will complete his or her work on time. So what I should do? I don't simply call the parents and say that your daughter has not completed the homework. Take your child away. The parents will take the child away. That's what will happen, right? Because today's scenario is like that if the parents are coming to drop their child, they are feeling like it feels like actually that they are coming to drop at the airport. The students are going to some international trip. They are coming to take the students like that. Oh, my child is coming, okay, coming and hugging. Bye mama, bye papa. You know what is this in our time? So, it happened, right? So the thing is that we as a teacher are not only responsible to inbuild all such behavior. This is the one of the major factor that actually we as a teacher has to face. So when you keep this thing in our mind, we have chosen this profession or the profession has chosen us, no matter, but it's not only our sole responsibility to focus these things. We as a teacher has one more responsibility to go one more step apart from a student to the parents. Make them understand that how child can be given this all such values. So our field of this expertise has to be expanded. It's not limited within the students only. It will go beyond the students. And sometimes if I feel like that, parents are not paying fees to counsel them. We are supposed to teach only the students. Fees are coming only in the name of students, right? So if we start thinking like this, then that is the where the parents are actually playing a crucial role for the development of a child, that couldn't take place. And we not simply blame the parents also because they are actually doing what they chose, but we can actually do apart from knowing the things. Like I said before only. That makes the difference between this education and value education. So there are other points under the punctuality because we also have to be punctual on this. So religious tolerance. welcoming reading from different religious scriptures, respecting all places of worship. Sometimes we have seen that a particular set of students they don't respect the other in terms of religion, in terms of culture also. So we need to find or we need to organize some activity where they can actually represent the other's culture also. They can respect the other's culture also. That should be the theme of some of the competitions. We have seen some competitions and we should organize some healthy competitions where if the opponent team is falling or injured, then the opponent team, I mean the opposite team should go and help them out. That is something in a single line or in one point I can say, which is actually a healthy competition that a school or any management can organize. Then, avoiding comparison between different religions. This is very important. This is not only within religions, but also within the students as an individual. Respecting the founders of different religions, sharing in the joy and celebration of different religious festivals, trying to understand the basic terms of different religions, accepting the social customs of different religions, interacting, respecting, and all those things. Sometimes we feel like that we don't celebrate this festival. Let it be. We will be sleeping our day in our room throughout the day. I had this one of my friend Amaradi in Royal Gate College while I was studying here. She used to bring a lot, I mean, like 2 pots. After the Eid is over, she used to bring 2 pots of biryani, and we used to celebrate it. We used to go to her home and we enjoyed this kind of meal also. So, this religious barricade among students is also a major drawback in getting this value education because they are not actually respecting the others. We are already, if we had this set of these rules in our mind that this is something I don't celebrate it, I will stay away from it. But even if we don't celebrate it, make sure that we need to inculcate the value of respecting that particular thing to the student's mind. Because it creates a bonding among the students also. They will help out each other. Otherwise, the bond that doesn't work with the students. Then, scientific network. This is a very much important. You might have seen as Joseph Rukhaya. They used to do it because they have that eagerness. Why they are doing? I mean, the teachers will say that don't pour water into acid, right? Water into acid or acid into water. Like something is there, alright? If you ask them not to do, they will do that. But if we show them the consequences before taking to the laboratory or something, that if you do this thing, see, this is what going to happen. See the video. After that, you will think that they will have that much courage to do that kind of things. Like liquid nitrogen, I think. Liquid nitrogen, water, something mixture is, if you drop even a small amount of liquid nitrogen in the water, burst. If you drop 50 ml of liquid nitrogen in water, it can be more than Diwali in one place. It will not only explode, I mean it can create very large amount of. So students might have this scientific temper. Some students who might see some child, a small child, you will see, they will open a fridge, they will open a car, they have brought a small car toy. Why it is so? Their mind is something like that. They want to know what actually exists in abstract nature, what actually exists in, when we open it up. So their mind is like exploring, especially at the age till when they are in standard 10 or 12. After that, they understood that okay, this is not my business. How this speaker is working, not my business. Bajra, let it be. But for students, it's actually they will open it up. How the sounds have been traveling from here to there. So this curiosity, their heuristic nature of this learning, it has to be in controlled way. So this scientific temper, it's a refusal to accept anything without any trial or test. So we need to give them a small test. Otherwise they will do it on their own. That happens in most of the cases, whether that is science, maths or physics, chemistry, bio, in any terms that would happen. It's reliance on observable facts rather than on pre-convinced theory. They need to see it actually. If I tell them that okay, this is what actually happening, they won't believe you. I mean, they won't believe us actually. This is actually happening. But if we have taken them to a live scenario, like State Museum, we have taken them yesterday, which she has taken. It was a great initiative. So they saw the things on their own. Now, if I ask them that okay, Asur Jati, what is their actually occupation? Then, if they have observed the things carefully, they will easily say that their main purpose was to their survival or their occupation was mainly with the iron ore. So, what they done actually by seeing and what they done from the book, then it makes a difference. So, we need to show them actually, rather than making their mind a mirror image that okay, these are the things, this should be printed on your mind. But they need to take the things as they perceive from their own sensory organs. It's search for truth and for new knowledge. This is actually acquisition we call in terms of learning, where students are actually changing their knowledge with respect of time, with respect of the situation. So this comes under acquisition, which is again another field. It is the finding of facts first, or search the facts. It's not accept the things blindly. They cannot accept the things. I told them, okay, this is sun. They won't believe it. Until unless I told them the characteristics of sun, that okay, this is sun. It has 12 hours. I mean, you can see it for 12 hours. You can see it from east side. You will see. I mean, if it is sun, then you will feel the hotness. If it is a sun, then if you keep your bedclothes outside, then it will get dry. Until unless I told them about the characteristics of the sun, they are not going to accept it. And if they accept it, then there is something mistake or there is something mismatch in the learning teaching method. That is what we need to focus on this. It is to discover cause and effect relationship. Then it is a capacity to change previous conclusion in the fact of new evidence. Then the last one is, and this is also very important, that is sensitivity. Sometimes we have given the job to students to do this or that, to do it. But will the students they feel shy to do some kind of or some set of work actually? Or if a person is not willing to do, and if you are assigning them that task, then there comes the sensitivity. So where the students is learning from it, rather than they will be doing it forcefully. So we need to be sensitive that if a set of work has to be done by boys, then it should be done by boys only. We should assign this kind of work to the girls, because in that case what happens, girls have that inferiority that they will be keeping themselves away that okay, what others will think. So even if in terms of punishing the children, so there is a set of punishment for girls, there is a set of punishment for boys. So we need to focus on these two things. What should be given based on gender, based on age. So different sectors, we do have different types of things. It means the ability to enter into others' feeling and share his or her affections, distress and grief in a spirit of harmonious understanding and compassion. Means giving complete expression of divine love, abiding in one's heart and allowing him or her to partake in God, in goodness of God. Means getting involved deeply with others. Means finding the greatest satisfaction in human relations. Means ability to feel for others. Means open to others in such a way that one's thought and feelings are easily influenced by others. This influential is also very much important in our teaching learning method. Because if we are not influencing the students, they will say, why I should learn from you? So that influential power a teacher must possess. Then, when we come across all the ways, then as a teacher we do have lots and lots of challenges also. It's not like that if we start something, then it will happen as we have placed for. First one that comes under education system. Education system, suppose CBSE had given the curriculum that these are the chapters that has to be finished. But at our level, we need to decide the syllabus. That which chapter to keep first for periodic assessment 1, which one to keep for periodic assessment 2. This has to decide based on our holidays, time of working, number of classes that we have before any holiday, the date of the exam that we have already planned. So all these things has to be planned in a better way. It shouldn't be like this that a particular chapter will be finished in a hurry. If we are having 10 days and there is one chapter that has to be finished, that will take at least 15 days. So what we are doing, we are taking enormous pressure to finish the chapter. Sometimes the students are not able to take the things, but we have to finish the syllabus because we have this chapter is coming in periodic, so we have to finish. So the students will learn the chapter. No, we are just finishing the syllabus. So the selection of these things actually comes under the syllabus. That what portions should come before. So this type of thing should be planned beforehand only. Then next one is your boredom and mundane nature of teaching. This actually what actually we are doing. Waking up, making our snack, breakfast, coming to the school, taking 6, 7, 8, going back. Thing is, what is new? If we are following the same method again and again and again, then what is the new things that students will learn? I have taught same 8 type of questions. I go to the class, page number this, question number this. Students are impressed. So remember the page number also. The student said, sir, 12.1, question number 1. I said, okay, good triangle question. I take the book. The students are impressed. But the thing is, what is the point? If I simply remember the page number and question number, does it make feel good a teacher irrespective of that? Did I learn something new? Or is there anything new that I have done? Something apart from my daily schedule? If today is same as yesterday, then if there is no difference, then what is my worth living today as a teacher if I have not done something new to my students? The profession that what I am at, then if I am not doing something new to my students, then what is worth of living today? So this monotonous and boredom or mundane nature of teaching has to be changed. There are so many lots and lots of options, we need to explore them. Then technical issue. Sometimes if you bring the students here, projector is not working, somebody kept it switch on, therefore it got hit. Technical issue. Current is not here, CDs are not here, if I want to show them videos. So all this comes under technical issues. We do have the resources, but because of some issues, we are not being able to utilize. Even sometimes Power BI is not there, who will put it on? That also comes under technical issues. So all such things has to be planned before to overcome or to deal with such issues. Assessment strategies. All of us till a level, we know this, setting up 8 questions for periodic assessment, setting up 30, 40 questions for half yearly, but in between, in language, like you can say that teachers are taking dictation and all. Like dictation you used to take. It's language teachers. The students know the spelling or not. But apart from that, we also need to focus that a particular student is good at what skill. Somewhere in some school report card I have seen reading, comprehension, dictation, calculus or something, some kind of others, marks are here. I think that I am going to, but I have seen, that's why I am telling you. So what actually happens, it creates some more burden on teachers also in that perspective. What actually happens, in between the test, teacher has to conduct some different patterns of test where we actually see that what is the growth of the students, or this actually comes under CCE, continuous comprehensive evaluation, where we actually check the students' progress throughout the session. If there is a decline after the half yearly, then we need to see that how that can be improved. So for that also it comes challenge. It is a challenge for teacher because if the number of students is very large, because then it is very difficult to handle such kind of things, and planning out for such things is possible only in case of small number of students. So this is also very challenging. Again, another thing is that when we talk about open and closed, then sometimes we need to check the student's ability to find the answer from the book itself. That is comes under open. We might have come across some of the exams where it is open actually rather than closed. The students have been given book to just see their level, that whether they are actually able to find the answers or not even. Sometimes question has been from linear equation, they are finding it from quadratic equation. So their ability to find it out, whether they are actually understanding that this question is of which part. Even if they are not good at this thing, then we need to take what steps that has to be seen or that has to be decided exactly on that time according to the experience level. Then in today's time, it's very expensive modern technologies for field. If you are going to set up any smart board, I think it will cost around 2 lakh. Around 2 lakh for per class. So if students are having smart classes, their perception there towards the teaching learning will be changing anyhow. This is very good initiative whenever this smart classroom was introduced in our curriculum for the betterment of students, or some of the schools are having. But suppose if we are going to implement, then again same thing is that it's costly. So 2 lakh for each class, it will be too much. So therefore, this is very considered to be one of the challenges for us because it's very expensive modern technologies infrastructure. Then virtual classroom engagement, 1-to-1, one teacher, 40 students, 40 minutes. Is it possible that I have decided that 1 minute I will focus to the students, 1 minute to the students? So this management is very difficult for the students also. I mean, the students need that personal attention. But 40 minutes, 40 students, one teacher. Teacher can give one student to each student, and that how that can be done, that has to be also planned. Motivation is of mainly intrinsic as well as extrinsic. We as a teacher can work on the extrinsic side. I mean the external factor. But the internal factor has to be implemented from the student itself. So we cannot simply say that okay, if I am trying my best to do this thing for the students, the student has to be also motivated from himself also. Then last one is quality of education. This whole system was based on value education. So the quality of education can be enhanced, or there can be upliftment in the quality of the education if and only if we decide it. Because as a teacher, I think that we are the roots, the trees that I showed you at the difference part, we are actually the roots of the quality education. I believe, this is what I believe, and I also believe that there are other factors also. There are other factors like watering, soil, which are actually can give good fruits, you can say, like qualities of the students. But we are the roots here. So the thing is that I think that after this we can take little bit of initiative to create our education into value education so that this can be implemented on a larger scale. So thanks for your time. This is all about value education. Thank you.